Breaking news in Nova Scotia today as the Tories announced they are extending and increasing the current rent cap. So both tenants and landlords had their eyes set on December 31st, 2023, as this was when the 2% rent cap was set to expire. And this is the rent cap that was originally put in place by the Liberal government in November of 2020, and then it was inherited by the Conservatives and extended by Tim Houston and the Conservatives in February of 2022 until December 31st, 2023. And now today the Conservatives announced that they are extending the rent cap until December 31st, 2025, and at the end of this year, it will move from 2% to 5%. So the big question here is, and I would love to hear from you in the comments to see what the general public thinks about this. Do you think they got it right? Do you think they should have removed it? Do you think they should have left it at 2%? Or do you think they should have increased it more than 5%? Now I'm going to get into some more detail on this, and I'm going to talk about my opinion as well. But before I do, all I ask is that if you get any value out of this video when you're watching it, please hit the like and subscribe to my channel, and that'll make sure you don't miss any of my future content, and it will make sure this gets pushed out to more people like you who might be interested in seeing videos like this about the Halifax real estate and housing market. And if you have any questions about the real estate market in general, or if you're looking to make a move in Halifax, don't hesitate to reach out to me. My Calendly link below in my description at a time when it's convenient for you, and you book a call with me or a seller consultation or a buyer consultation to chat about real estate. Okay, so getting right back into it, I've been saying this for a while now that I did not think they were going to remove the rent cap in full on December 31st, 2023, and that I thought realistically they would probably extend it and raise it, so kind of a happy medium there. And on this one, I was correct. So starting next year, the rent cap is increasing to 5% and it will stay in place until December 31st, 2025. So for reference, on a $1,000 monthly lease payment, that would be a change of $50 a month instead of $20 per month. So it isn't really a huge difference, but it is a big difference to landlords trying to cover different utility bills and tax raises, etc., that we've been seeing over the last few years. And to the tenant side of things, it definitely is going to help people stay in housing that is relatively affordable. And even though it is increasing potentially, let's say $50 on a $1,000 lease, it isn't as bad for a tenant as if the rent cap was removed in full, as this could have been a total disaster for tenants across Nova Scotia. Now, I've talked about the rent cap before in a lot of my other videos, but the reality is I do see it from both sides here. From a tenant perspective, I do not think people should be forced out of their apartments because of, basically unjustified, outrageous rent hikes. So for example, if somebody's paying, let's say $1,500, I don't think the landlord should be able to get them out by just pushing it up to $2,500, which is basically an unjustified rent increase. And from the landlord side of things, the reality is I don't think that we should be out money as landlords because our utility bills and our tax raises and so on are increasing in cost faster than we can raise the rent. Personally, in a way, I think they got this one right because the government has kicked this can so far down the road. If they remove this rent cap altogether, the floodgates would open up with the rent increases and tenants across the province would basically be screwed. But in another way, this is further kicking that can down the road to the end of 2025. And at that time, there will be another big decision to make because, in my opinion, the housing situation will likely not be very different at that time. And therefore, if they remove the rent cap at that point, it will be kind of the same result as we're seeing right now. And really, it could be even worse. However, I do think they need to do something with the 2% rent cap because small landlords are really feeling the hurt because of the tax hikes and the utility hikes and so on that we've been seeing over the last few years. But in my opinion, this is somewhat of, let's call it a happy medium. I don't know if I would officially say it's a happy medium, but let's say it's a bit of a happy medium. So they raised the rent cap and they extended it. So tenants are relatively safe compared to what they would be, at least if the rent cap was removed in full. And now landlords can increase the rent a little bit more to help soften the blow of some of those increased costs we've been seeing over the last few years. I can tell you that I'm not the least bit surprised with this announcement. I definitely expected something along these lines, and it's nice that they announced it earlier in the year instead of dropping a bomb toward the end of 2023, as a lot of tenants especially would have been sweating what the government was going to do with this rent cap. I also expected them to not remove it altogether and to try to come up with a happy medium, because the reality is when this change takes place at the end of December 2023, the next election is just around the corner from that, about 18 months down the road, and this is obviously a very major factor in what's going to happen with that next election, and they're going to try to keep everybody happy. So I'm not surprised they did kind of a happy medium on this one at this time. Something that's kind of funny to keep in mind is that when Tim Houston was campaigning in the last election, he clearly stated he did not believe that a rent cap was the final solution to this problem, and then a few months months after he was elected, he extended the rent cap for over a year, and now he's extended it another 2 years past that. So it is just kind of funny, but the reality is that is the decision. We are here now, and this is the current situation. So again, I ask you, and I'd love to hear from you in the comments below, as I would really like to know what the general public is thinking about this. I hear a lot of realtor opinions, I hear a lot of investor opinions, and I hear a lot of just everyday, my friends' opinions, but I'm curious to see what everybody thinks on this. Do you think they got it right? Do you think they should have removed it altogether? Do you think they should have kept it at 2%? Or do you think they should have increased it further than the 5% that they did? Comment below. I would love to get some dialogue started down there. And if you're still here watching, thank you so much for your support. I really appreciate it. Don't forget to like and subscribe to my channel, and have a great day.